I wanted a fun kind of way for you to introduce yourself to people who may not know who you are and what your music's like. So I was thinking if you could give us three things that you think are quintessentially Dolly Doops.
Um, oh, like anything.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, just super broad.
okay. Lace.
Nice.
So random. Probably like the color like pink, like reddy orange pink,
Oh, cool, yeah. Okay.
and like maximalist makeup.
Nice, nice. Okay. So I noticed your discography is starting to grow. You've got a few years behind you now.
Yeah.
So looking back to your first single, Inside Your Mind, what would you say has been the biggest shift for you creatively since then?
I feel like I know what I want to say in my music now. I feel like that I was just kind of like grasping at whatever would like come out of sessions and what I was like, who I was working with, what we would think would sound best for me. Whereas now I feel like I've built up the people that I work with. So we'll like sit back and just be like, oh, we want to talk about this, and this is like how we're feeling today. And I don't know, I just feel like I have more of a conceptual idea around
Ah,
how I want to display my voice, what I want to say, and yeah, I feel like it has a bit more like authenticity to it.
yeah, no, I think that's really interesting. So the message of your latest single, No Means No, is very clear and obviously a vital message. So, why did you choose now to release it? Do you think you're part inspired by kind of like the current state of the world and how things are at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, we wrote it 2 years, no, this one we wrote a year ago.
Okay.
Mm. And yeah, I guess it wasn't like that now is exactly the right time. I think the it just kind of happened that that was like what was next.
Mm.
Uh, and obviously the current state of the world is definitely a big part of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's something that's, as history shows, is just like a repetition of repetitions of
Yeah,
things
definitely.
like women's rights, and what's going on with like trans women's rights and trans rights at the moment as
Mm.
well. I also think like I've been embracing my like queerness a lot more in my own music, and
Yeah.
I feel it's a really important time to use my voice in that way, especially like what's going on in the community.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's kind of like, it's a song for women, but it's sort of a song for everyone. And just like another, but it's what I feel like I can give. It's a tiny part of it, but a tiny fragment, but it's what I feel like I can add to fighting back for rights and things.
No, I definitely hear that, and I think it's a great take. I like that the song remains upbeat, with it being such a kind of like serious message. It could be very easy, and it has been done before to take it down quite a somber route, I suppose. So I
Yeah.
wondered how important it was for you to deliver something that remains quite bright, even though it is quite a serious message.
I think it's actually that's like a perfect reflection of like me. Like
Mm.
I would definitely call myself like an optimist. Like I'm a very like I look on the bright side. I'm like
Yeah,
probably like the bubbly person in my friend groups and my community. Um, but I feel like I'm also quite uh I feel like women normally are more mature generally, but like I feel like I've always been quite mature and experienced things from a young age that I was able to like speak about things and be a bit more like intellectual about what I was feeling. And
mm.
um, so I feel like it's like a reflection of how I am and how I deal with things. And also like, I think obviously we love sad songs and we love like feeling
Yeah,
things. But I think it's really important to, although it's something that's very real, something very raw, still have some sort of embodiment of joy and like empowerment and
yeah.
yeah, like not make it all about the sad parts and like oh poor women. It's not, it's more about like actually it's not poor women, it's like watch how we can fight and
Yeah, yeah. No, I get that. So do you find the creative process different for songs which are more personal in comparison to ones which are kind of like a bigger message, you know?
um I guess it depends who I'm working with,
Mm,
honest.
okay.
Because I guess sometimes if it's, I mean, sometimes if it's just like writing something to get it out, and seeing what comes out, it maybe has a different process. But I feel like generally they all have quite a similar process and workspace. And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like a bigger message like this and the personal stuff all like very much interlink as well.
Yeah, no, I get that. So before this interview, I had a little stalk of your socials. I wanted to see what the vibes are like and stuff. Um, so I noticed you have, I think you have like a very clear aesthetic, and I can really see kind of like the visual elements of the music that you've tied together.
Yeah.
So I wondered how important you think that is as a pop artist in 2025.
I think incredibly, and not even just for pop, I think like, well, for me, music is, obviously it's an art form, but I think music's so visual.
Yeah,
I think being able to have something alongside it, even if it's not like a branding of a person, and it's like, like moving shapes and spaces, or just something that gives us like a visual to add to it. I think, I just think for me, it's like really a really important part of it.
yeah,
Um,
no, I agree.
Even if I wasn't like to show my face, do you know what I mean? I feel like I
Yeah.
could find a visual way to represent the music.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think it's especially with pop, I do think it's quite an important part.
Yeah, no, I hear that. So do you have any recent obsessions or influences that you feel like are kind of finding their way into your music or your style at the moment?
I mean, like I'm like obsessed. My TikTok for you page is just like makeup, and I feel like the maximalist side of makeup, and I feel like expressing myself through that kind of also has a it ties into like performance and stuff, but I also
Yeah,
think ties into like maybe how I um think about especially the musicality side of music, and just like the fun, like you were saying, like with No Means No, having like that up
mm.
tempo beat. I just feel like it's a different side of like expression. Um yeah, and I mean just like fashion, makeup, everything, I'm like obsessed with that side of um like art basically.
Yeah,
Um yeah.
yeah, okay, cool. So finishing off the interview, I wanted to know what do you think's been your career highlight of 2025?
Ooh. That's a tricky one. Um, I would have to say, oh gosh, what would I say? I would have to say, like, I've kind of built a little band around
Mm.
me, that call themselves the Fruity Loops. So it's like Dolly Doops and the Fruity Loops. And I think, and it's basically just my friends, like we're
Oh,
all really good
nice.
friends, but they're all amazing musicians and we've kind of formed together. And I think finding that as like, a support on stage has been, it's not necessarily a career highlight, but I think that's been a really important step, and
Yeah.
support
Yeah, no, I
part.
really like that answer. Very different to what most people say, but really
Yeah,
important.
yeah, because
Um,
that's something that like carries me through like, a long
yeah.
time. It's just be something that lasts for a little like season, but it's been beautiful. It's been so much fun.